Hey guys, for this type of video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a Nextbot AI in Rec Room. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is just make your map. I'm just going to make a small map for now. Before we go any further, I'm just going to say that this is a Rec Room AI, and it is not going to be simple. It's not supposed to be simple, but I'm going to try my best to show you how to make this AI. And if you follow along and play close attention, then you'll probably be able to make it. Alright, so the same thing I do in every other AI video. Go to settings, scroll all the way down, until you see allow creative tools beta content, and make sure you have that on. Now the first thing you want to do is get a trigger volume and just make this the size of your Nextbot. I'm not going to do an image, I'm just going to do like a cube for now. I recommend making this decorational, if it's not already. Now you want to get a clamp, just put it to the side, and clamp the trigger volume to the gizmo right here. And then clamp your picture or whatever to this yellow part of the gizmo. Now configure the trigger volume chip and just detach it, and then bring this down to where you're going to do the circuits. Now you're going to get a spawner component. This is where your AI is going to be spawning. Now configure the spawner component and click set object. And now I'd recommend making this a mouse spot since it has a straighter pathway. Then configure the spawner component chip and detach it. Now an important thing you're going to do is configure the spawner component again. And behavior on spawn, make this disengaged and turn this off right here. Okay, so now the same thing I do in all of my other AI videos, you want to get an event receiver, configure it, and make it an update 30 Hz or an update, doesn't really matter. Usually Nextbots don't really wander around, and they always just go towards a player. So for this Nextbot, I'm just going to make it always, like, go to the closest player. That's to it. So get a set transform, and get position, and get a vector 3 split, get an add chip, and just put it in between these two. You also want to get a subtract chip. Now, just to have no errors, we're going to get an if is valid. Then connect this value of the if is valid to the object right here on the spawner component. And then just connect this up to here. And then connect the is valid to the set transform. Now connect the target from the set transform to your trigger volume. Then connect this X right here to the X on this one. Z to Z. And then the Y to the add chip. And the sum of the add chip to the Y on this vector 3 create. I completely forgot something. I don't know why I put the spawner component right here, but you're going to need to select your map, clone it down to like probably about right there. You're probably going to want to put it way down or players will hear the mouse spot. So move the spawner component down to the bottom map. Now I want to get a distance and then connect the spawner component to the A on the distance and B to the trigger volume. Now you want to select your trigger volume and put it directly above the spawner component right there, so it's like about right there. It doesn't really need to be perfect. So this is your distance from the bottom map and the top map, just to make it a lot easier. So mine is 15, so probably gonna want to put like 15 in here. I'm just gonna keep this to the side in case I need it. So you could get another event receiver and then make that AI spawn and just connect that to the get position. But if you have multiple Nextbots, then you're probably going to want to use this one right here. So we're just going to use this, connect this up to the get position. And then position, vector 3 create, or vector 3 split. And then vector 3 split to the position right here. Then you want to get a combatant get velocity. Now you want to get a from Rec Room object and just connect this up to the combatant get velocity. Want to move this up here. Then the velocity is the rotation. And now just like my other AI videos, I'm not sure if they actually updated it, if only the room authority can make this spawn. Probably not, but we're just still going to use event receivers. So just get an event definition. Call this spawn. And get an event receiver and an event sender. Then select that. Bring this down. And then rename this one to despawn. Now configure this event receiver and make this one despawn. And then make this event receiver right here spawn. Then make the event sender spawn. And make sure this target right here is room authority. Same with this one, event sender to despawn, and the target to room authority. Now just connect spawn up to spawn, reset to despawn. If you want, you can connect this one up to here, and just select these 3 chips. And go to options and create circuit board, and detach that. So now it's just one circuit board. You're gonna have to disconnect this one, connect it to there, and then select 3 of these. Options, create circuit board. Then reconnect this back up to the reset. So now get a gate closest, then get a get all players, then get an AI path 2. Also move the update 30 Hz to the side, and then get a if local player is room authority. Connect this up to here, and then connect the IM authority to if is valid. Then connect the AI path 2 to set transform. The AI is this from Rec Room object chip right here, and the target is the closest on the get closest. Connect the targets to the players, and the origin right here is going to be the trigger volume. So now if I just spawn this in, no nav mesh, let me just go to settings, scroll all the way down, and then click big nav mesh. There we go. Now he is pathing to me, and wherever I go, he will always follow me. But there is one more thing we need to do. If I go underneath here, then he does not go up the stairs, or he does not go down the stairs. So there's a way we can fix that, and I'll show you how to do that. Also, by the way, this white area doesn't really matter. I usually think it's kind of annoying, so you just like move this to the bottom map like that, and then you could rebake the nav mesh if you want, or you could bake the nav mesh and just delete that so it just doesn't get annoying. So now I'm going to reset it. So we're going to move this to the side, move this about right there. So select your vector 3 create and vector 3 split, and just clone this up. Now we're going to need this subtract chip and move it in between them. Connect the Y to the value and the difference to the Y. And then this value right here is the same as this value, so 15. And in all my other videos, I just put a reroute right there. So just get a reroute, then just connect this up to that one, this one to that one, and then just put your 15 in here. Now clone this get position next to the get closest. Connect this up to the get position and the position to the vector 3 split, and then the vector 3 create to the target right here. So now if I spawn this in, okay, I completely forgot. So if I go upstairs, yeah, he's just gonna go above me. So I forgot that when I set the distances, that one was on the bottom floor and this is on the top floor, so make sure they're on the same floor. So I'm probably just gonna make this go down by like 2 or 3, so let's try 13. 12 would probably be good. Yeah, 12 is pretty good. So yeah, there we go. Now he chases me to the bottom floor and the top floor. Jump down to the bottom floor. Yep, he'll come downstairs. Now I use a trigger volume because you could use the player to enter for a respawn or a jump scare or whatever. Alright, so this AI was a lot simpler than my other AIs, and it's a lot easier to make. So this is just one last look of the circuits. Don't need this circuit right here. Alright, that's about it. I hope this helped you on making an Nextbot AI. Put any of your questions and problems in the comments. I might respond to them and probably try to help you.